It's 1964, and a young track athlete is selling running shoes out of the trunk of his car. His goal is to dismantle the dominance of two international monopolies that have owned the sport for decades. In the 1960s, track and field had a hierarchy. If you were a serious runner, you wore Adidas or Puma. There were no other real options. But these shoes were built with thick leather and dense rubber. They were stiff, they were expensive, and most importantly, they were heavy. Phil Knight, a runner at the University of Oregon, and his coach, Bill Bowerman, saw this as a physical tax on the athlete. They knew that over the course of a mile, every extra ounce of shoe forced the runner to lift hundreds of pounds of unnecessary weight. The industry leaders were too established to see the weight as a problem. To fix it, Knight had to look outside the existing system. Knight flew to Japan and pitched a company that didn't exist yet to secure the rights to import Tiger running shoes. He was betting that a lighter, nylon-based shoe could outperform the German leather standard. He used his Plymouth Valiant as a mobile storefront, driving to track meets across the Pacific Northwest to get the shoes directly onto the feet of runners. The shoes stripped away the weight of the traditional leather models, giving athletes a technical edge for a fraction of the cost. By focusing on performance over the established manufacturing norms, Knight found a vulnerability in the German monopolies. But growth brought a new set of problems. As orders poured in, Knight's ability to track inventory and sales by hand began to collapse under the demand. A disruptive product only works if the back end of the business can actually deliver it. If the logistics fail, the innovation doesn't matter. To unseat an industry leader, you have to be excellent on two fronts: the product in the customer's hand and the operations in the home office. By the early 70s, Knight and Bowerman realized that importing was only a bridge. To actually take the lead, they had to build their own technology from the ground up. One morning in 1971, Coach Bowerman was sitting in his kitchen, looking at the deep grid pattern of his wife's waffle iron. He poured liquid urethane rubber into the iron to see if he could mold a new kind of traction. The result was the waffle trainer. It featured a sole that gripped the track surface while weighing next to nothing. They won the physical front of the war by ignoring the standard shoemaking process and reinventing the foundation of the product. But the product still needed its own identity to distance itself from its past as a Japanese import. They renamed the company Nike and purchased the swoosh logo from a student for $35. Then they shifted the marketing. While Adidas and Puma focused on the technical specs of the shoe, Nike marketed the spirit of the athlete. They sold inspiration. This built a psychological bond with the customer that the German giants, with all their technical engineering, couldn't match. This strategy transformed a business selling out of a car trunk into a global empire. Knight and Bowerman didn't win through superior resources. They won because they understood the physical and psychological needs of the runner better than the monopolies did.